Okay, we're here at Olds Performance and Machine, and I want to talk to you guys about product design. We are extremely instrumental in the industry with designing our own products. Uh, and in certain circumstances, we outsource the actual implementation or the finished product or the actual putting together of the finished product at another manufacturer's facility. They're better equipped to do as we instruct them to do as far as design. So, not uncommon that will sit side by side at that manufacturer's facility in front of a screen on maybe CAD or a specific program that allows for a certain design. What they work on often, and as far as what their engineering department might work on. What's critical is that not necessarily are we 100% sold on their own designs, but they are more than pleased to work with us and allow us to come down and allow us to sit with them and be very instrumental on the designs that we feel that have worked, that have proven to work down the racetrack and have led to great success. And in many of occasions, they'll adapt to some of our designs, knowing that we've created a better mousetrap, which not only works for our customers, works for their customers as well. Here we have a big block Chevrolet oil pan, of which we had designed. There's certain areas which are of our own design incorporated into this. They might look similar, but dimensionally they've been altered a little bit here and there to make for a better oil pan. Whereas before, just to point something out, typically this area from here to here would be shorter. Now this is going into a tube style 10.5 car, whereas, or excuse me, this one's going into a factory front end style Camaro with alterations, whereas it allows for a deep area right under here because there's no cross member that comes underneath it. So what we did here in this design is in wanting to still keep the sump area during shutdown to retain the oil, which is necessary. We've also increased the area from here to here, whereas before in the design with the manufacturer, it was basically from this location to about here, and then it had a taper back this way. By allowing more area under the crank equally throughout the journals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is where you pick up some significant power, the depth right in here. This is really important. Now, it's understandable that if you have a cross member underneath here, you could only do what you can do. All right, but this one, in this particular application, it allows us to do something different. Still keeping the sump, still keeping the necessary ground clearance that we need, and yet deepening this area right here. Now, in conjunction with that, we also do a kick out in it as well. Okay, and as if you could see, it's kicked out, okay, from here on over. This adds power to as well. And it allows for the oil to accumulate in this area, the kick side, and make its way back nicely, back into the sump area. So that's pretty cool too as well. And kicks have been used for quite some time. And any big horsepower motor, it's pretty much a necessity. We have a fitting installed here, which will reference oil temperature. Extremely important to get an understanding of your oil temperatures, especially on a dyno for tuning, as well as you want an understanding also down the racetrack so you can log that in for data. We incorporate into the pan a fitting here. Okay, and that fitting's for a heater. an oil heater. All right, and we feel that's extremely important too. We always bring the oil temperature up before we start the motor, and that's a really nice feature. This way, when the individual gets to the track, let's say on a day that might be on the cooler side, 55 or 60 degrees, you want to try and get that oil temperature up around 90 degrees, and then you want to fire it up. And you know what? You fire it up, you leave it plugged in. It's not going to hurt anything. You can run the motor for 10, 12 minutes, getting it up to temperature water-wise, and then it will bring up some of the temperature on the oil side too as well. So the heater definitely helps out in this situation. Okay, so back here, if we take a look at this, that's a notch for a starter. And typically what we'll do is we'll allow for the use of multiple different starters. So we'll use a pocket that fits the larger starter, and therefore, if the customer might have a problem at the racetrack and needs to borrow a starter, any starter will go into this pocket here. And that's kind of a nice feature. So this is a nice big horsepower pan right here. It's excellently crafted. I mean, the TIG welding is just absolutely born on beautiful on it. And there's a lot of value for the money. It'll make this motor really nice. It's a nice addition to this engine. And this engine that I'm speaking about is a 582-inch Chevrolet engine. So thanks for tuning in on this feature of this oil pan here for this big block Chevy. Like, share, follow Olds Performance and Machine. If you're interested in oil pans, really good design for your own application, give us a call, 1-800-382-1320. All right? Thank you.